What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Itz-Beez-Da, TrackStar, and welcome back to Dancehall Masterclass. Transitions, right? So, if you remember, we have the rhythm laid out and pretty much done in a final configuration. Certain little changes we don't make later on, but it just seemed dry, right? Going from intro to chorus, chorus to verse. If you take a listen. You understand? It seemed like it just happened. It's just coming, you know. There's no like a build up, no excitement, none of that. You know what I mean? So we had some transitions. So let me say with music and any genre, the idea always starts in your head. So for me right now, the first thing when we hear the intro, because it's a piano, I think like maybe we want it to come in with like a white noise. And if you don't know what white noise is, let's see if we have it. So white noise would be something like that, but not with the effect, just something smooth like and I mean, but we don't have that. So another thing what we could have used is the sprinkle over here at the beginning. You know, and what we'd do is we'd just drag it in. One thing what me like to do with all of my samples is me like to make sure it line up with the track. So when we say everything I play on beat, you don't have to always do that, because if you play it right now, it still sound good, you know, in a sound off or not like that. But we just like to do it just for good habit, and sometimes you will need to do it. So it's better if you do it, you know, even when you don't need to. So that when you do need to, you always have it in mind. So what we do is we come to time stretching, and we switch that to auto, and we right click on time, and we put that to 4 bar. Because if you remember, each one of these is a bar, each one of these is a step. You know what I mean? So we have 8 steps in a bar and 4 bars in a beat. So let's play that now. You know, and it seems as if it ends right on time. So one thing we immediately notice is it seemed off in a way, right? And the reason for that is because we just added another element into the track, but it's not balanced. So easy fix, we just link that to the mixer, Control and L. Make sure you have the track selected where you want it linked to. You just press Control and L and do that. Also, there's another way you can link to the mixer. So if we, let's say we just reset. So let's change the name. Boom. So if we reset that, all we can do is just simply double click on the file, look on the mixer, find an empty track, and just click right here so it says effects, and drag that across. And as I can see it, I move across the mixer until we get into an empty track. The problem with that is that it doesn't name the track. You know what I mean? So if we just come now and select it and press Control and L, it name the track, so we know exactly what I did it. So if we play this again, I'll just balance it in the track. Nice. So as we are treat this as a beginner course, this sounds dry. So what I am going to do is I'm going to EQ it a little bit first. So basically, let me say, when you're EQing, I like to cut out any type of low end in a sound, even if it doesn't really have it, because something can be there. And, you know, coming up when we start going to analyzers and stuff like that, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. So let's move this over to about 180. It's not a very bass heavy sound anyway, so we can get more aggressive with the cut. Now let's load in a reverb, and I'm going to use the stock FL Studio reverb. One of my favorites, by the way. This thing was probably on every single beat that make between 2012 12 to 2013. So it's like, this was my go-to reverb until, we start explore more and learn more. So we don't set the dry all the way up, we don't bring the wet down, right? So we basically just have a dry signal. So now we don't start introduce the wet signal. And kind of get the reverb atmosphere. Another thing we can do is we can increase the size, we can make this bigger. And another way I could do that is just simply by clicking this menu and dragging up or down. And that increases the size. And it also, if you go from left to right, it changes the shape. So we want a round reverb, we want a very big reverb. I want the tail, the decay, want it kind of trail off a little bit. Something like that. Okay, so let's play it again. Now that time, I amplified the volume so you can hear exactly what the effect was. So now if we go back to the track, let's just find a good blend between the reverb and the dry signal. And what I'm going to do is, I don't like all of this stuff at the end. So I'm going to right click and hold it, get the knife tool, split it right here. Another way for that is I could press Alt, Shift, and C, and that would switch to the knife tool or the cut tool. And I could simply, let's take the cut away. When you have the knife tool selected, you can simply right click and you get a red line. If you left click, you get a blue line. Another thing I like to do is, if you see when I just click like this, I have a line and it can go anywhere. If you press Shift, it makes it vertical and you can just move from left to right to make, more accurate cuts or more streamlined cuts. Because if it's like this and I cut like that, it just cuts at the median, at the intersection or at the middle point, which is not good. So take that away and just right click, get the red line and just come over halfway. Now, if you have an even file, as you can see, this file is exactly 4 bars or 4 beats. So what that does is the file immediately to the left, if it's an even file, the file immediately to the left will be safe and the file to the right will be cut off. Now, if the file was not even like that, or let's say we have the same file, but we cut like this, you get rid of that. If we cut here, you get rid of it. So you always get rid of the smaller portion when you use right click and shift, basically. So hold shift, right click, cut, whatever you want to cut. Cool. So to get back to the brush tool, shift, alt, and B. If you are in FL Studio 20, just alt and B. Or if you're in FL Studio 20 as well, it's just alt and C to use the cut tool. Keep that in mind. Don't really have to keep that shortcut because I know a lot of you guys are on newer versions of FL Studio. So for FL Studio 20, it's alt and C for the cut tool, alt and B for the brush tool. So let's continue. So like I said, we're going to get rid of all of this. And I feel like we could use something here to go into the chorus, so we will add that. And that sounds perfect. This is basically a reverse cymbal. And just like we did earlier, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to resample it. So switch this to auto. And we're going to switch the time. This time, we're not going to right click on it. I'm going to hold Control and I'm going to use my mouse wheel. And what this does is it resizes the clip, or it resamples the clip to a square. Cool. So if I were to just go right now and just no control, so without holding control, if I set this to auto and use the mouse wheel, you can see it resizes it to 2. So if I were to reset this and put it back to none, and then I hold control, we have more finite or smaller sections that we can work with. So we can move, like I said, hold control, scroll with the mouse wheel. Now we have it in this 1 bar. So let's say we had a clip and when we stretched it out, it wouldn't go all the way out to here. So let's say this clip would stop here, right? What you could do is simply turn on stretch here, and now you can manually just drag the clip out. Let's deselect this. Waveform. Stretch. Okay, so for whatever reason, it seems when you have slide turned on, you cannot do it. Or maybe that was just a coincidence, but that seemed somewhat weird. But you can just stretch the clip, and it will do the same thing as you using the mouse wheel. So now we need to line this up because the apex of this clip is right here. So we need to line this big spike here up. So if you hold Control, left click, then hold Alt and left click, you can now move the clip around. And the reason why I said hold Alt instead of just going and trying to move the clip is because when you hold Alt, it gives you more finite movement. You can move in smaller increments, basically. So let's put that back. Now we go back to the cut tool, Shift Alt C, and then right click and get rid of that, and then right click and get rid of that. So the clip is perfectly trimmed to fit in between these three steps. So now if we deselect that, Control and D, we can go and play. Cool. So it seems a bit rushed. And the reason for that is because it's not balanced. So what we could do also is because we are still in stretch, we could stretch this out to see if that would work. But as you can see, it still doesn't line up. So what I will do is push this back. Let's turn off stretch here. Put this back here. Let's get it on the mixer. You understand? So between the start and where we are there, it just seems much better than just having it dry. It just seems like it comes in. Right here, I'm feeling like I should add a cymbal. Like it feels a little empty there too. That could work. So yes, we could use this here. Re-stretch. I'm going to stretch that out like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as basically the intro for the other cymbal. So if we click here, you know what I mean? So once we get a better balance on it, it won't be that much noticeable. But I feel like we need a crash here. Some type of payoff. You know, just something to say, hey, I have arrived, basically. Here, I wanted to add that same crash, but I feel like I'll leave it blank and just have the payoff come at the beginning of the chorus. So let's put those two on the mixer. And if you remember, if we select one and right click on the other, we can link both at the same time by pressing Control, Shift, and L. And now we can bring down this first one and this second one. Let's go out here. You know, there's a payoff. So I'll play it and let it lead out. And in the next video, we'll finish up everything, start doing some master bus processing, kind of bringing this track to life. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. It's Beez, the TrackStar. Peace.